This one's a bit more challenging because of Anafenza and a more aggressive curve, but this deck isn't so fast that it should be impossible for Hawkins to handle.
You see Anafenza's on the battlefield right now, though it looks like he might be dying because of Fleshbag Marauder being brought back via Liliana. So Hawkins is going to lose his zombie token, and Keppol is going to lose his Anafenza, one of the trumps in the matchup. Hawkins going to play a Windswept Heath, and he'll sacrifice that. Eric, number 9 on our Season 4 leaderboard. If things ended today, he'd be the last person into the Players' Championship. He's 5-2-1 right now, and he definitely needs a win. Switching up just a basic force before passing the turn back. Stephen Keppol 5-2-1 with his Abzan aggro deck, currently down a game. And his Anafenza has just bit the dust. You see the hand there. So Wingmate Rock. Also a Den Protector over there. You see life totals are updated now. Keppol 21, Hawkins at 13. And it looks like he might be going to a morph here. Gotta imagine there's some interest in getting Anafenza back.
Yep.
It's so good in the matchup. Oh, there's Collective Company. Gonna take a look at the top 6. Will Hawkins. And that one's going to resolve here, so we'll see what he can find. And this is the best Collective Company deck in the format. It's going to be Grimhorror Specs and Zillipore Cutthroat. Starting to work his way towards something, is there?
Yep. Grimhorror Specs is one of the more important pieces of the puzzle here, just to build up enough total resources to be able to go off.
Eric has at least 3 lands in hand, but he also has a copy of Bring to Light. So he's going to start by ticking up Liliana, it appears. Both players going to do some discarding. Hawkins going to lose Flooded Strand. Wingmate Rock down there for Keppol. Here comes Fleshbag. Keppol with Search of Righteousness at the ready.
Not a great card for this matchup. I mean, I know he's got black creatures that are attacking, but it's such a secondary game plan here, and this is going to result in a drain and a card for Hawkins.
One could argue Hawkins would like that to happen.
Yeah, and now the shields are down. Keppol's only got 1 mana left over. If Hawkins finds a removal spell for the Den Protector, Keppol's got nothing going on.
The Den Protector was a draw there for Eric. There's a Canopy Vista. And I think we might see Bring to Light here. He's going to go with the Den Protector instead. We're going to head back Stephen Keppol's way, as we do have an update here for you guys with Logan Mize. He's your only undefeated player. He just won his last match. He is 9-0. Heck of a time to be 9-0.
Making it exciting.
Yeah.
Giving Tom Ross and Todd Anderson a little bit of a sweat.
Keppol going to take a look at the graveyard here for his Den Protector, see if there's something he's got interest in returning.
I think there's a self-inflicted wound he's just drawn this turn. Keppol has brought in a lot of removal, and that's the type of game that Hawkins is happy to play. Because if the game's slow and about, trading off spells and the graveyard's getting built up, he's a huge favorite in those kind of games.
Yeah, trying to pick this deck apart with spot removal, not the place you want to be.
If you're backing it up with a really fast curve and you're shocking some stuff, that can be great. But when you're talking turn 6, turn 7 against someone with a Grimhorror Specs and a Liliana in play, much harder to do it.
Keppol going to return Siege Rhino with the Den Protector. Going to have to take 1 to cast the Siege Rhino, but the Siege Rhino's in now. So Keppol will gain some life, Hawkins will lose some, but if Hawkins isn't at 0, life is pretty good, because now he can keep getting things going here.
Den Protector gets back Fleshbag Marauder, which can be cast. Liliana can get the Fleshbag Marauder back. Hawkins gets to draw 2 cards for his trouble and drain for 2. And that's just the play that I see on the table.
Yeah.
But there might be other stuff better than that hanging out. We'll see.
No, you're a pretty big Tarka Red fan right now. How does Tarka Red line up against this 4-color rally deck?
The matchup is close, but typically the games themselves are not close.
Okay.
It's a close matchup, but it's either, I'm running them out of the gym and they never get anything set up, or they go cutthroat into something else and then you can't attack, the game slows down, you can never attack them, and they have some removal spell to cover the combo.
Here's Collective Company on the main face for Eric. He'll take a look at the top 6 again. See if his deck wants to cooperate here. Cutthroat in, Catacomb Sifter. I would say that's a cooperate.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even the best possible thing here, but that's still plenty good.
Yeah. Liliana is going to go up. Players will be discarding. And now there's Jace. And this is how 4-color rally likes it. It's cluttered up. That's the dream.
With still a lot of routes for card advantage here and management of the life total and all that kind of stuff. When the board looks like this and you're playing some mid-range creature deck, you usually cannot recover. Even if it still looks like you can kind of attack, or you can make some headway if you draw a removal spell, it rarely ends up being the case.
Here's Sorin. And Sorin, obviously a very powerful planeswalker, but when the board gets glutted up like this, Eric can just kind of pick and choose how he wants to block and how much of an effect Sorin has.
Well, the nice thing about Sorin is if it gets plus this turn, at least Den Protector has a clean shot at something. There's nothing on Hawkins' side that can block. The downside is that's not a whole lot here.
Yep. You see Hawkins' resources out here. Liliana on 5, Jace, Den Protector, that's a 3-2 because the Unmegamorph. Grim Horror Specs looking to draw some cards. Catacomb Sifter, which if anything dies, you get to scry. And then 2 Cutthroats. So we'll see how Eric wants to block, assuming that he even does want to block.
I would assume, I think that Den Protector and Catacomb Sifter in front of the Rhino is a really easy block to make. You get the Rhino off the table and you draw 2 and drain for 4.
I've seen worse turns.
And you can't do anything about the Den Protector, so don't stress about it.
Well, it looks like there's Eric's block. And even if there's a removal spell like Ultimate Price or something here on the Den Protector, you're still fine.
Oh, Keppol's empty-handed. He's playing off the top.
Okay,
so
never mind.
This block is full information for Hawkins.
That makes it even easier then. So now Keppol's just going to have to organize the blockers accordingly, see what he wants to kill.
Oh yeah, I would imagine he's just getting the Sifter and the Den Protector off the table at this point.
Yeah, Sifter is interesting. It says when another creature you control dies, not itself.
Yep.
You get to scry 1. Alion Trazi, our Season 2 Invitational Champion, a big fan of that card. Perhaps we'll see him play that at the Players' Championship. There's some drains, some gains. The Rhino's going to bite the dust, but it gets some life links, so it'll gain some life. Life totals are going to change pretty heavily here. And once the dust settles, we'll have those updated for you. But these are the kind of exchanges I think Eric's very happy with.
Yeah, I mean, this combat, Hawkins actually ends up even on life and up on cards, and Keppol's down as Siege Rhino.
Yeah. And I think about to be down to Sorin.
Yeah.
So all the triggers being sorted out. And now, Hawkins gets to draw 2 cards because 2 creatures died. So, we're going to go back his way. Draw for the turn. For Eric, we'll see what the first order of business is. It's going to take 1 here. Play another Horror Specs. Oh boy.
Okay.
Sidithi's Faithful is going to exploit itself.
Little draw 2, gain, drain for 4.
Put a card in your hand when I have Liliana.
Yeah.
Yeah. This deck, I think it's pretty safe. I don't know if it crushes obs on aggro, but this deck humiliates mid-range decks.
If you're a mid-range deck with no counter spells, I'm not sure what you're really supposed to do here.
Yeah. And I think its matchup against obs on aggro is pretty good. They're just not fast enough out of the gate.
Yeah.
And you've got enough ways to buy time, enough card advantage. But I just don't know what you're supposed to do in situations like this. Gonna knock Sorin down, I think. Catacomb Sifter's Eldrazi Scion token's gonna come across. So now Keppol he's got 6 lands. That's it. Jace gonna go active now. Hawkins gonna draw and discard. Polluted Delta down. Jace gonna flip. I would be scared if this deck got a new card. I don't know what it would be looking for exactly, but
something to shore up the early game would be nice.
Yeah. I do like cutting some number of rallies probably for the deck. Here's a Siege Rhino.
And when you get into this is where things really get ugly, is Liliana up this high with Sidisi in the graveyard. It's 1 mana, or sorry, it's -1
on loyalty.
1 loyalty on Liliana to, this way he gets rid of the Rhino forever.
Yeah.
He could literally spend the rest of the game just unsummoning Siege Rhino and still be fine.
Yeah.
This is a better way to do it.
Unsummon Siege Rhino, draw 2, drain 4.
Yeah.
Just do that every turn.
Attack you with my guys,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Eric doesn't really have to do anything else. It's at his leisure how he wants to end the game now. And you can tell Keppol has not really played against this deck as he's reading Liliana, reading Jace, becoming a little bit more familiar with some of the interactions here. But this is worse than a sleeper hold.
Yeah.
I don't know what lock this is. It's bad.
The upshot is it should be over soon.
2 turns, if that. And if a land's ever drawn, it makes it even easier. Yep, there's a flooded strand. Now, I don't know if you've ever had kind of an experience where you play against a deck where you weren't really familiar with what was going on.
Yes.
Okay.
Balancing act at the Pro Tour.
Ooh. Oh no! Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like was it Masashi?
It was a Japanese player. I
Okay.
don't know for sure. It was not Masashi.
Okay.
It was a PT Los Angeles.
Okay. That's what you were playing, some red deck, I assume.
I was playing with Boros Guild Mage and extended.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare if you don't know. That is a true disaster. Are we going Emblem with Liliana?
Yeah.
Whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step? Sure.
It's fun with Nantuko Husk.
Yeah, that's true.
Huzzah!
Yep, there's Nantuko Husk.
Draw my whole deck, drain you for 1 million.
I remember the first time I played against Astral Slide, it was against current R&D member Mark Globus at the state championships, and he played an Astral Slide, and then he played a Morph
Yeah.
with a mana available, and then I targeted with Smother,
Yeah.
and he cycled a card,
Yep.
and it was an Exalted Angel. I think you know where this may be going.
Came back to play face up.
I didn't understand the interaction.
And since your deck had Smother in it, it was probably not great against Exalted Angel.
It was very hard to kill it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I cast Upheaval, and then he slid it out, and I didn't understand that either. It's just learning. You learn the interactions. That was one of my favorite decks of all time.
Yeah, we're just having a kill here.
Yeah, Eric's just going to wind him down. That's all this is. Zillipore Cutthroats, all that stuff's going to be sacrificed.
I think the Liliana emblem is an SCG first.
I've actually never seen it before on the SCG Live cam. Oh, look, everything comes back. That's fun. Sack them all again. That's going to do it. Eric Hawkins going to win this match here over Stephen Keppol. 2-0. 4-color rally going to move on to 6-2-1 for Hawkins and Chris Anderson. Very important. They're both into day 2.
And I think Keppol there probably was not totally confident on what the strategic plan of attack should have been. Showed a lot of removal there in game 2, and I think you need to focus just on your curve and trying to keep Anafenza in play as much as possible. But trying to break them up with removal spells, a little bit of it's okay, but too much of it, that just buys them time.
I am